Hey, it's Vince Marotta. Join us on Tuesday morning. Can the Suns get back in the win column against Memphis? We'll get you ready for that and a lot more starting at 6 on Arizona Sports.
Noise. Kevin's been around the noise his entire career. He's a pro. He's the best at it. And like I said, it gets noisy when you're not winning. And the simple fact is we haven't won enough. And if we're not winning enough, storylines pop up. But we're talking about basketball, and he's always shown, and he will continue to show, and I think this team will continue to show that despite the things outside of our walls, we'll focus on the task at hand and we'll focus on ball.
Suns general manager James Jones meeting with the media before Friday's game against the Utah Jazz, a game that ultimately the Suns would win. They would lose the next night against the Denver Nuggets. Kevin Durant would play in neither of those games, nor would Bradley Beal. Grayson Allen wouldn't play in the second one either.
They didn't have Michael Porter Jr.
No, they didn't.
But they did have Jokic and Murray.
Yeah, and that was plenty. And Murray hasn't even had that great of a season, but boy, he was great on Saturday. And what happened Saturday was the most predictable thing in the world without those three guys.
Back-to-back.
And Devin Booker on the second night of a back-to-back after playing 49 minutes the night before and playing his ass off, by the way. It was very predictable. But now... okay, so that's what happened over the weekend. We'll see if KD plays against Memphis. We'll see if KD plays against Houston. KD spoke with the media today. We'll bring you that. We're kind of working through that audio right now because there was a bunch of it. There wasn't anything like overly attention-grabbing that he said.
I saw one. When asked about being through this, he said, I haven't been through this.
That was the one.
That's the one. When asked about being through this, he said, I haven't been through this. Because the immediate thing is like, you've been through this before. You've been traded before. You know what it's like to go from one team to another.
Not like this.
And he was like, not like this.
Yeah,
I haven't been through this where I
wasn't looped in.
I wasn't looped in.
Didn't have
I was
my
involved
blessing.
in trade talks, and then I didn't end up getting traded.
Yeah, didn't have my blessing. It didn't have my blessing. And that's what James Jones was talking about when he met with the media. Do you think this will impact Kevin Durant? He goes, it's noise. He'll handle it just fine. Like I say, when we have the KD sound, we will play it for you because he spoke today. And you're right. I had forgotten about that line, but that was a kind of revealing because a lot of people have speculated on where Kevin Durant's head is going to be and how these games are going to go. There was, as we hinted at on Friday, a real in-depth piece on ESPN.com of how this all went down. And a lot of it had the information that you had been reporting on, including the 3, maybe even almost 4-team trade that could have gone down with Nurkic and the Wizards and the Heat and the Butler and Warriors and Kuminga and all that stuff.
Yep, big trade.
The one thing that was interesting to come out of it, I mean, there's a lot of things that came. I don't want to say there was one thing. The one thing that came out of it was interesting was, no, he did not want to go to Warriors. He wasn't interested in that the first time Steph asked. He wasn't interested in it when they came around the day before the deadline. He might have gone to the Miami Heat, though. He might have been willing to go to the Miami Heat. And that's when those two teams started talking about a direct trade, and ultimately they couldn't reach any conclusions.
Yeah, I was asked so many times when the Golden State thing, fell apart, like, what about Miami? And I'm like, I'm not ruling out Miami. I can't rule out Miami because at that time there was still a chance that they could have done something with Miami. Miami was, initially Miami was going to, wanted Wiggins. I know the Heat fans that messaged me. I'm like, your best bet is to get Wiggins. But then all of a sudden it was like, okay, let's cut Golden State out altogether. You want Butler. We take Durant. But the problem again, and I'll say this until I'm blue in the face, the Suns are not trading Kevin Durant unless they get back a combination of young players and quality draft assets. So I think Miami was very much like, okay, we'll take Durant, you take Butler, we'll throw you one other thing and we'll call it a day. And that's not something the Phoenix Suns were going to do. They weren't going to move Kevin Durant just for Jimmy Butler in a smaller package. If they move Durant, it's going to have to be for something tangible. It's going to have to be something that can help the Suns now and then also help them in the future.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this late on Friday, so we don't expect you to have known this, but in reading the article, there was a quote in here. One team source, didn't say who, it was anonymous. One team source said that, yeah, we definitely should have gone through Durant's business partner when we were doing this, almost trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube, so to speak. Like, okay, yeah, we admit we made a mistake in not looping Kevin Durant into this conversation and not, his blessing, his knowledge, whatever it wanted to be. It really was the first time in his career. And that's that cut that quote that you're talking about from Durant today. I haven't been this before. Is him I assume him referencing the idea. Yeah, I've been traded before. I've wanted to be. I've controlled the process before. I've never been in a situation where I wasn't consulted or I wasn't in control of the process.
Bleacher Report had a story where Miami debated cutting the Warriors out completely and dealing Butler to Phoenix. Then there was the story that I think you were just referencing where it says, it mentioned that Riley had wanted Durant for years. 2016, famous meeting in the Hamptons in New York where Durant took pictures from various teams and the Warriors closed him with Curry selling him. Then Riley also targeted him in 2019 when he left Golden State for Brooklyn. But so it's kind of mentions like Riley has kind of been trying to get Durant for years. He's kind of always had his eye on him. And apparently if Durant would have, Durant was open to going to Miami if something was going to get done. But again, the Suns were not going to make a trade like that because it wasn't a trade that was going to help them now and then also help them in the future.
And why he said no to Golden State, again, the ESPN.com story, a Warriors source conceded, quote, probably the same reasons KD left. It would have been a bleeping circus, close quote. And that's maybe why he didn't want to go back. And the story goes into great detail about how the Suns were deflated after it all went down. The ESPN story also kind of revealed that the two teams that were at least considering taking on Bradley Beal if he would waive his no-trade clause to go there were the Washington Wizards and Atlanta Hawks. And they tried and just couldn't figure out a way to make it work. But those were two teams that at least would consider taking on Bradley Beal. The Wizards we talked about. Atlanta, I don't think we mentioned once last week. But this was Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst who were doing the reporting. As far as Durant goes, here's the cut you referenced a second ago.
You're a pro, you've been through this, but
let's get this straight. I haven't been through this before, but I understand what's going on.
So there,
I haven't. Let's get this straight.
I haven't been
through this.
Yeah.
I expect that Kevin Durant will get back to the court as soon as possible and try to help this team win basketball games because he loves to play. He loves to hoop. And this is definitely a bump in the road and something that's we all know this. Like what would if I would have said to you 3 months ago, what's the odds on Kevin Durant signing a 2-year extension with the Phoenix Suns, you would have said it was very high.
3 months ago?
3 months ago. Just 3 months
Based
ago.
off of your information, I would have said high.
Yeah. If I go to what would have been November, if I would have been like the 8-1 start, like if I would have went then and said, what's the odds? You would have said very high. Now it's probably very low. The Suns are going to have to address the problems that they've had. After this season is over, it will be 3 playoff years with Kevin Durant. If it does not lead to a championship or at least a Western Conference Finals, they're going to have to evaluate where they're at. And that's when it's going to come to okay. And then, I'm sure both sides didn't want this. Nobody wanted this. Everybody wanted to work out, which is why I had, my little rant the other day. It's like, Kevin, like if you love it here and you want to be here, and this isn't like Kevin not being a great player. Kevin's one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life. I have so much respect for him as a player and speaking to the media after every game the way he does. I totally respect that. But the only way to do it is to the team has to ball out. He has to play great. They have to play great, and they've got to win. The only way you're going to convince anybody from fans to the organization that they need to keep this team together is to do something that we're not expecting, and that is to win in the playoffs.
He was asked if he was blindsided by the trade reports.
I didn't see it coming, but the organization got to do what they got to do for the betterment of their organization. Even if I'm blindsided or not, it doesn't matter. It's just part of the business, you know what I'm saying? And as a player, you got to be prepared for anything. I've been traded before. I moved teams before. I got up and switched my whole situation up mid-season. So you got to be prepared for anything in this league, and so being blindsided doesn't even matter.
But again,
I always had it.
No, that's not the one. This is the one I was talking about.
You're a pro, you've been through this, but
let's get this straight. I haven't been through this before, but I understand what's going on.
So but also, I play that. Remember, Kevin Durant, the Suns Trailblazers game was the only one going on in the league when Luka got traded, right? When Luka got traded to the Lakers, and after that game, Kevin Durant was very, as usual, kind of honest about everything. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said, "Look, if the Mavs can just up and trade Luka to the LA Lakers, anything can happen.
So did you think he knew at that time?
Anything can.
Do you think during that
honestly, okay,
Portland game?
Based off of the reporting of Ramona and Windhorse, I think he knew something was going on between the Suns and the Warriors.
That was Monday. Wednesday was the Oklahoma City game. The Portland loss was Monday.
No, the Portland loss was Saturday.
So Monday.
This is the first. So this was Saturday night when Luka gets traded.
I don't think he knew then.
According to the reporting from Windhorst and Ramona, by that time, Steph and KD had already had a conversation about, hey, would you come play for us? Do you want to join us? And it was the way that the article phrased it was a soft no. It was like, yeah, I don't think so. Not sure. That's the reporting. I don't know whether it's accurate or not. That's what they reported. So I think at that moment when he had hey, man, it's the NBA. Anything can happen. Luka getting traded. Maybe he, in the back of his mind, knew, man, they're even talking about trading me to the Golden State Warriors.
That's why I said that's very possible. It's very possible. I don't know. I know this. I mean, again, total respect for Kevin Durant for answering all those questions. Tough time. Nobody wants to feel like you're not wanted or they're going to trade you. So, but again, ultimate respect for him answering the questions the way he did.
When we come back on the Burns and Gambo show, he was on the verge of something nobody had ever done in the history of the NFL. And instead, he played one of the worst games we've ever seen him play. Did his legacy take a hit in the Super Bowl yesterday? That's next on the Burns and Gambo show.
Wolf and Luke, middays 10 to 2.
As we parachute in on Super Bowl 59, you have to talk about Jalen Hurts and the game he had. Oh, my goodness. Nails. I know he threw a pick. I know that he did, but everything else he did the entire game was so good.
The Eagles did exactly what you have to do. You have to be up by more than a score late. You have to. You feel like if it's close, the Chiefs are going to win. You feel like if the Eagles win, I remember thinking, hey, if the Eagles win, they're probably going to win by 10. Now, as it turns out, they should have won by 40.
Wolf and Luke, middays 10 to 2 on Arizona Sports, the local sports leader.
Love telling you about Sanderson Lincoln, just east of the I-17 on Bell Road in the boutique store in the Scottsdale Quarter. And that is where we went to get our Lincoln Navigator. We love it. And right now, they've got a 2024 Lincoln Navigator, a whole bunch of them, 11 of them right now. 0% financing for 72 months on the Lincoln Navigators. 2024 Lincoln Navigator, 0% financing for 72 months. My favorite ride ever, the luxury of a Lincoln Navigator. It is a head turner, it really is. I love our Navigator, and you would love it too. They've got a great deal as well on the 2025 Lincoln Aviator at Sanderson Lincoln with $1,500 bonus cash and 2.9% financing on for 36 months. They've got a 2025 Lincoln Nautilus with a great deal as well, and you could check out the all-new 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV when you head on over to Sanderson Lincoln, just east of the I-17 on Bell Road, or the boutique store in the Scottsdale Quarters.
Dan Bickley here, and sports fans know the importance of being number one, which is exactly why you call Parker & Sons. They are the best in the business. They're celebrating 50 years in the Valley. They're fast, reliable, and their trophy case is full of awards. They are the company you trust with your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Your house deserves nothing less. Call 602-2REPAIR. That's 602-2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Lose weight easier and faster with Red Mountain Weight Loss. Discover the power of semaglutide and tirzepatide, the breakthrough GLP-1 medications that are transforming lives. You lose up to 15 pounds a month without feeling hungry or deprived. And for a limited time only, save $100 on any GLP program and get our lowest prices of the year. Don't wait. Lose up to 15 pounds by this time next month only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Go to redmountainweightloss.com.
Introducing your ultimate golf destination, the Golf Galaxy Performance Center at Ahwatukee Foothills Town Center, opening January 31st. Join us at the grand opening event, February 14th to the 16th. Over $30,000 in giveaways and prizes, including our $10,000 closest to the pin contest. Discover the latest golf clubs, explore cutting-edge styles, and immerse yourself in a brand new golf experience. The first 100 adults in line each day will receive a mystery gift card with a chance to win up to $500. Learn more at golfgalaxy.com/Phoenix.
Hey, it's Wolf. Two key receivers in the NFC West could be on the move. Could they stay in the division and land with the Arizona Cardinals? We get going tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's Wolf and Luke on Arizona Sports.
Threw 2 interceptions and they're in. I mean, I threw a pick 6 and I threw a pick that they returned to the 5-yard line and they scored immediately after. So when you give a team 14 points, especially a really good football team, a Super Bowl football team, then not a lot of good things happen. And so that's why I take ownership in this loss more than probably any loss in my entire career, is because I put us in a bad spot.
Yeah, he was rattled yesterday, and you don't say that very often about Patrick Mahomes. He was they got him to the core yesterday. You could just tell he was confused, flustered. They had no answers. Andy Reid had no answers. There's no shame in losing a Super Bowl, not when you've won 3 already, like Patrick Mahomes has, and you were going for your 4th and your 3rd in a row. There's no shame in that at all. But given the circumstances and everything that was on the line, there are some people who are wondering how much of a hit his I don't even want to
so stupid.
I don't even want to call it legacy. The dude's
so
30
dumb.
years old, right? Like, it's like
old,
really we're talking about
Super
this
Bowls.
today.
Like,
yeah,
this is, I really hated that. I really hated this is a knock on Mahomes' legacy. The guy's won 3 Super Bowls. Like, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. But when all is said and done, he's one of the best you've ever seen. What a hit on his. Tom Brady lost a couple of tough ones. Tom Brady had an undefeated team that lost to Eli Manning. Oh, that was a big hit on. Then he lost again to Eli. Like, come on. Like, he's got a winning record in Super Bowls. He's been to 5 of them. He's won 3. He went up. This was not a great Kansas City team. We've said it all year long. Just to get him to the Super Bowl, to me, was pretty remarkable. I mean, you're running DeAndre Hopkins out there, by the way. How bad was that drop by DeAndre Hopkins in the first half?
He
had 40 yards in front of him with nobody.
Did you see how much field he had in front of him when he dropped
with nobody.
There was nobody in front of him.
Yeah,
nobody.
You're running Hollywood Brown out there, and they don't have a great team. And Kelsey's getting old, and he's still good, but come on. I mean, it's a little bit of a makeshift offensive line. There is no knock on that legacy at all, man. He's 30 years old, and he's won the Super Bowl 3 times. One of the best that we've ever seen. I really hated reading all those knock on Mahomes legacy hits. Why? Because he lost the Super Bowl? It happens. It happens. Tom Brady lost Super Bowls.
Yeah, and I think it was Sando who pointed out that there was a lot of similarities, actually, between Brady and Mahomes in this Super Bowl that they lost. This was to end their 7th season as a starter. So both quarterbacks lost a Super Bowl the game that ended their 7th season as a starter. For Brady, it was the perfect season that was wrecked by Eli and your New York Giants. And for Mahomes, it was the chance at that three-peat that was wrecked by the Philadelphia. I think, if anything, honestly,
it was a pass rush that beat both of them.
It was. Well, he was. Yeah,
the Giants
there's
beat
none
the
of that.
hell out of Brady.
I think, if anything, it speaks less of Mahomes and more of the Kansas City Chiefs' reliance of Patrick Mahomes.
Agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't surround him with a great cast.
Think about that wide receiving core. Man, it was a bunch of spare parts, right? Think about Travis Kelce. He's done. I mean, he's at the end of his career. Maybe he plays one more year because he doesn't want to go out this way. But there's a lot of speculation that yesterday might have been his last game. He's 35 years old. That offensive line was no good. And they moved Joe Thuney over to tackle, so they were like their backup left guard, who got obliterated by the Eagles the whole game long. I thought, if anything, yesterday's game was a testament to the Chiefs. Hey, guys, you can't just expect Patrick Mahomes to bail your butts out every single Sunday. You got to put some talented players around him. You can't just expect him to be the great one. I think that's the indictment from yesterday, not so much Mahomes.
If the offensive line had given him protection, he would have got more out of those guys. Hopkins, Brown,
totally
Worthy, and those guys. Juju Smith-Schuster. He would have got more out of those guys, but the offensive line couldn't hold up. The defensive look. We knew this from when the Cardinals signed Gannon, and we were talking about, man, that pass rush. They had 4 guys with 10 sacks or more that year. The year the Cardinals signed Gannon to be their head coach. He was leaving a team that had 4 different guys with 10 sacks. The way to rattle these quarterbacks, and again, the Giants did it with a relentless pass rush on Brady. They beat the hell out of Brady in that Super Bowl. He had no time to throw. They were in his grill the entire time. And this was similar to me. This was similar. Mahomes had no time to... Man, they were flushing him outside of the pocket. He couldn't step up in the pocket. He couldn't get outside the pocket. It was like there were Eagle players everywhere. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Yeah. No, in fact, the comp that Sando made in which he was writing about this, he kind of pointed out that when the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that Super Bowl a few years ago, that in some ways that was kind of similar, too, with how they were chasing him around. And the reason I bring that up, he points out in his story that offseason, they went into that offseason and said, okay, we've got a Brett Veach, the general manager of the Chiefs. They went into that offseason. They signed Joe Thuney to a record contract. They traded for Orlando Brown. They drafted center Creed Humphrey, and they drafted guard Trey Smith, who's basically they said, okay, our offensive line is terrible. Patrick Mahomes got killed in the Super Bowl. Let's reinforce it. Let's fix it. That's the lesson. That's what you got to, and that's the lesson. Look, if there's one thing that was crystal clear from yesterday's game, I mean, just as clear as could be, it's that at the end of the day, offensive line play and depth and defensive line play and depth are still some of the most, maybe the 2 most important things in roster building in the NFL.
Ford's first draft pick?
Yeah, he was an offensive lineman. Yep. What did he do last year? He was going
defensive lineman.
Defensive lineman is what he was going after, right? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. You need great skill players too. We just got done talking about how they had a bunch of spare parts at wide receiver. But at the end of the day, like this free agency and this draft for the Cardinals, would we be shocked outside of edge rusher if it's, I'm not going to say exclusively offensive and defensive line, but it's going to be a crap ton of offensive linemen because that's it. That's still at the end of the day where this game is won and lost. When you have a great one of those or a great both of those, you can mask a lot of other inefficiencies across your roster.
We've seen Patrick Mahomes, his entire career, and like I said, his legacy to me is pretty sad. He's got a record as a starting quarterback of, including the playoffs, 106 wins and 27 losses. 106 wins and 27 losses. Quite remarkable. Brady was 104 and 29 after the same time, 104 and 29. So nearly identical. But I'll tell you, like on the Cooper DeJean interception return for a touchdown, how often do we ever see Patrick Mahomes make a pass where he's got no idea what he's looking at? He never saw him. Never saw him.
No.
He was so rattled and wanting to get rid of the ball so quick. I see a guy open a throat, never saw him. Mahomes is so great at recognizing defenses. Never saw Cooper DeJean. Picks it off, goes into the end zone, touchdown.
Yeah, and then the second interception to lead that ultimately led to a touchdown as well. You don't ever see that out of Patrick Mahomes. You don't expect that kind of behavior out of Patrick Mahomes. That's how good the Philadelphia Eagles defense was yesterday. When we come back on the Burns and Gambo show, look at that. You can almost set your watch to it. We've reached that point in the year where we're asking this question. Can Bol Bol save this Suns season? Yeah, we're there. Next on the Burns and Gambo show.
Suns Facts, coming to you from the Empire of the Suns podcast with Kellen and Kevin. Get it on the Arizona Sports YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. The Empire of the Suns podcast is brought to you by Sonic. Live free, eat Sonic.
Back here for V's Barber Shop. It's always a pleasure to tell you about V's, their locations all across the valley, and that includes their brand new location as well. If you're living in the West Valley, V's Barber Shop Verrado. It's now open in Buckeye, right off the I-10. Super convenient for anybody who lives out west. Basically, V's Barber Shop has locations all across the valley, and I'll tell you, having been to at least a half dozen of them, just, kind of traveling around the valley or whatever. They're all just perfect throwbacks to the original V's Barbershop, the one that we all went to, the one that everybody I know went to back in Arcadia when they first opened it 25 years ago. Yeah, they're all a little bit different, and they've all kind of put their own stamp on it. But for the most part, you walk in, best barbers in town, old-fashioned throwback barbershop vibe. Everybody's tried to duplicate it. Nobody has even come close. You walk out of there feeling more like you've had an experience and less like you just got a haircut, and you never have to worry about getting back to your car, pointing you to the rearview mirror at yourself and looking at it and going, oh, man, that was a bad haircut. Doesn't happen at V's Barbershop. So go to vbarbershop.com and book your appointment today at V's.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Homeowners, while many agents are making very big promises, Carol Royce with your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty is famous for her written guarantees. Now, unlike some agents who promise a very unrealistic price just to get your business, Carol's going to provide you an upfront written guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value. Or Carol's going to pay you the difference. So if you're ready to sell your home in 2025, sell with confidence and for full market value, call Carol Royce today or visit carolhasthebuyers.com. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Basinonians, Ron Wolfley here. Don't wait another year wishing you had custom shades. Do what I did and call All Pro Shade Concepts. They're celebrating 20 years in 2025 with free estimates, complimentary installation, and they will cover your sales tax. I use roll-down shades to keep the cold air out and turn my patio into another room. And when summer comes, their retractable awnings block the sun and add backyard shade. Visit allproshadeconcepts.com and tell them Wolf sent you.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Mitch Vareldis with Trending Now. It's presented by Parker & Sons, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Now that the NFL season is in the books, it's time to look forward to next football season. And the next major event on the NFL calendar is the Scouting Combine at the end of this month, where Arizona is hoping to find the next great Cardinals players. In the draft, I mean. And you can see the latest from our mock draft tracker right now on the Arizona Sports app and on ArizonaSports.com. Per Suns head coach Mike Budenholzer at practice today, Bradley Beal did not practice today, which makes his return unlikely for tomorrow. Kevin Durant did everything today, and the Suns are hopeful that he will make his return from ankle injury, as well as Grayson Allen, who did not do as much as KD, but they are hopeful for his return as well. And then newest son, Cody Martin, is trending towards not debuting until after the break. He's dealing with a sports hernia. And Arizona basketball, after another solid win against Texas Tech, jumps all the way to 13th in the latest AP poll. Next up for the Wildcats is the Wildcats, but of Kansas State. That will be a matchup in Manhattan on Tuesday. This report is brought to you by Presidential Pools. Build your dream pool with Arizona's #1 pool builder. Schedule your free consultation before the 2025 swim season. Dive in at presidentialpools.com.
Hey, it's Luke. What do we want to see from the Phoenix Suns on Tuesday against another good team? We'll be previewing Suns Grizzlies tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. It's Wolf and Luke on Arizona Sports.
What do we want to see? Bol Bol.
Plumlee the rebound, gets off to the races, feeds Bol for the right hand jam. Ball got up high and threw it down hard. Jones feeds Bol. Left corner three on the way. He got it. Bol Bol from downtown. Another phenomenal half for him right before the buzzer. Oso bounces to the cutting Gillespie. Right corner, it's Bol all alone for three, and he got another one. His third of the night on 10 tries. 19 off the bench for Bol Bol tonight. Gordon posting against Jones, backing him down. Still backing him down. Turns into the lane. Gets blocked by Bol, and the ball sails out of bounds. How about the help defense there from Bol Bol?
The extra long Bol Bol montage. Like, how many more Bol Bol highlights we got in here? Bol Bol.
It kind of makes me angry.
What does?
Because there were plenty of games last year that, like, if you went back and looked at the film, you'd be like, okay, this guy can play. He can help. There was a game in April against Cleveland. He was 5 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point range, had 15 points. They won that game against Cleveland. There was a game against San Antonio in March, 4 for 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3. He played 19 minutes. He had 13 points, 4 rebounds. I can go on and on. I mean, it's a... Mm-hmm. It just makes me angry that, really, did it really take you this long to figure out that this guy could help? Like, to me, it's just another small knock on Mike Budenholzer. Like, I think that Bol Bol can help. I think that he could play. I don't think he should be a guy that sits on the bench and never plays. Did not play coach's decision. I mean, how many times has that guy been a DNP coach, or how many times has he just been in a garbage time? I saw it last year. Everybody listening to this show, you saw it too. There were games when he played. First of all, not only just elevating the crowd because they get excited to see him, the kid could play. Mm-hmm. He could block shots. He could shoot. Like, I'm just surprised. It just made me angry.
Vogel kind of did it last year too. I mean, to a certain extent, right?
But your Vogel, he had not been with the Suns the year before. He wasn't with the Suns.
I see. It's like Bud should have known better because of what Bol Bol did the year before.
I think so. I think so. And again, it just like makes me angry because I think that a guy like that can help. I'm not saying you got to play him 25 minutes a game,
mm-hmm.
but there's no reason why he can't come in for 10 or 12 minutes and try to give you a lift with some blocked shots and some, like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I think he could help.
Well, I mean, I think there are obviously limitations to his game, right? Like, he has a hard time guarding anybody on the perimeter, and he's certainly not physical enough to guard anybody down low. So I think most of his limitations are just defensively, in that he's a guy who's going to get very easily targeted out there in terms of a defensive mismatch. But to your point, can he do enough of the other things well enough to justify having him out there? And that's, in this moment, in this weekend right now, when you didn't have Kevin Durant, you didn't have Grayson Allen for one of the games, you didn't have Bradley Beal for both of the games, Ty Washington got run. Damian Lee got run this weekend, right? Like, I mean,
But Ty Washington and Damian Lee really can't help the team that much. Would you agree?
I would.
But Bol
I
Bol
would agree.
can.
I think Bol Bol can, but not as much as you think he can.
I'm thinking...
Not to the extent that you're...
I don't think you know what I'm saying.
No,
I think he can help for like 12 minutes a game.
You said that. Yeah, 10 minutes, 12 minutes a game.
Yeah.
I think even in those 12 minutes, there's the risk of him getting a little bit exposed defensively. I heard what you said. I did. I knew what you were saying. I just think even in those 10 to 12 minutes, but at this point, I mean, honestly, you're 26 and 26. Why not play him? I think we've reached that point in the season where, to your point, why not go find out how much he can help? Why not go find out how much his defensive liabilities are going to hurt you? What have you got to lose? You're the 10th seed in the Western Conference.
Exactly.
Play him. See what he can do. Like find out. Coach Bud, after the Utah game.
I mean, a lot of guys got an opportunity tonight. We felt like we needed the whole roster. D. Lee and Bol taking advantage, especially, Bol was, last night he was really good. It's can you do it again? And he did it again tonight. So really proud of how he's playing, how he's impacting the game, and all those guys, Ty, Colin, Monte, Mason, all the guys off the bench, on a night like tonight, we needed that fight. And, we hung, but, we weren't able to, in the end, be there.
My apologies. That was after the Denver game, not the Utah game, in which that soundbite. One thing that's undeniable, and I don't want to dismiss it because I do think it actually means something. When he comes in, that place reacts.
They do.
That place reacts. It was like that last year too.
Yeah.
Remember when they played in Brooklyn? They were on the road. Bol Bol was on the floor in the last few minutes of the game. It was a blow. One of the rare blowouts the Suns have been on the right side of. The place was going nuts for Bol Bol just to see him make a basket.
They love him.
There's an energy that he brings to the action from the crowd. I mean, like, if anything, if you're going to give him minutes at home so you can re-engage your crowd a little bit, right?
Sure. Maybe more at home on the road. I could live with that.
But I want to be clear about this. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just kind of pointing out, I'm sure the reasons why, if Coach Bud were sitting right here, why he'd say he's not playing him. But at this point in the season, where it looks like they're destined to be a 500 team, fighting and scratching and clawing just to get into the play-in tournament, why not? Why not play him 10 minutes and see what he can bring?
February 23rd last year. February 23rd. Bol Bol, 11 of 17 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range, 25 points, 14 rebounds in a game against Houston. 11 of 17 from the field, 25 points. Back-to-back games in March against Boston and Toronto. 5 of 7 from the field against Toronto for 11 points and 8 rebounds. 6 of 7 from the field, 13 points, 4 rebounds against the Celtics. Like, the kid can play a little.
Yeah.
How you play him, where, when, I get it. I get it. It's not the perfect mix, but I think the kid can play. I think he can help you in a limited amount of time. I think he can give your team a lift.
2 more games before the deadline for this, or not before the deadline, before the All-Star break, pardon me, for the Phoenix Suns. They're home against Memphis tomorrow. Kevin Durant certainly made it sound like he was going to play. Then they're on the road against Houston on Wednesday, and then that's it. They're shut down for a week. The next time we'll see them is when they play the San Antonio Spurs in Austin, Texas. Kevin Durant, boy, wouldn't that have been funny if Kevin Durant wasn't on the team when they went to go play in Austin against San Antonio. That's next week. Look, it's this schedule. It's brutal. We've talked about it. We've talked about it a lot. We all know how hard it's going to be. You said it earlier. We were talking off the air, and you said it just feels like they're destined to be a 41-41 team. And I honestly, I think with the schedule that they're playing, this is going to sound crazy. That would almost be a win if they finished 41-41.
Just feels like they're gonna like they're gonna play Memphis and Houston back to back. Probably looking at a split, right?
Are you? Those are both really good basketball teams.
Hoping for a split.
Of course, you're hoping for a split. But that's where I think the schedule comes into play. I don't know if you're going to win both of those basketball games.
Well, they're 2-2 against the Mush now. Is it 2-2?
2-2 against
2-2
the Mush.
against the Mush.
Yes, they beat Washington and Utah. They lost both of the Portland games.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The Mush, and then look, once you get through the All-Star break and you play San Antonio with their improved roster, you actually have another little pocket of mush for most of February. Like the last week and a half of February is kind of more mush.
Then the worst pocket of the season is
then
in early March.
You get to March 2nd,
it's on.
It's on.
Yeah.
And that's where 41-41 might be optimistic. It really might be.
Yeah, I don't know that you can. I don't think you can make the playoffs at 41-41. Like Dallas is going to take a hit now because AD's out.
Which we're going to get into in the next segment.
Which we'll
that
get
was big
into.
news over
Golden
the weekend.
State's going to play better. Sacramento, I think, is going to fall off. But are you worried about Portland or San Antonio? You're ahead of those teams now.
I'm definitely worried about San Antonio, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Portland, I don't know. They might have had their little spurt. So, it's going to 41-41. Best case scenario probably gets you as the 9th or the 10th seed. And then you're playing 2 games, win them both, so you can play a best of 7 against Oklahoma City. If you go 41-41, and you're probably right. It feels like a team that's going to be hovering around 500 for most of the season. We'll see. We'll see how much more run Bol Bol gets, especially when they start getting guys back, when Kevin Durant is back. And, of course, a lot of this will depend on Kevin Durant, too. How's he playing over the last couple months of the season? We're not But
But don't you go ahead.
I was just gonna say we think we expect the best, but
yeah,
is he distracted by everything that's gone down? What were you gonna say?
Question.
Go ahead.
You got to reward Bol Bol for the way he played in those games. You have to. You can't sit him back down and say we got 2 tough games. We're going to play them.
You have to win basketball games. You're not
right. But why not go into the mindset that this guy can help you?
Well, no, but that's a different conversation. I'm not into rewarding Bol Bol. I'm into winning basketball games. If you think Bol Bol can help you win basketball games,
I do.
Play him, but don't play him because hey, great game against Utah. We're going to reward you with some. I just don't think like you. You're in a desperate fight for your life to win every game you can. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
I get it.
We're not passing out Halloween candy here. We're trying to win basketball games. When we come back on the Burns and Gambo show, we have seen 2 All-NBAers make their debuts with their new teams. Both were revitalizing, and one lasted about 24 hours. That's next on the Burns and Gambo show.
Here we go. America's pastime is almost back.
Del Castillo swings. High drive. Right field. Walk-off homer. Adrian Del Castillo.
Pitchers and Catchers Report Wednesday. D-backs season will be on Arizona Sports 98.7, the Arizona Sports app, and ArizonaSports.com. Spring training coverage presented by Estrella Jalisco.
Hey, Wolf here from my brothers and sisters at Santan Ford. That's right, you've heard me talking about my Santan Ford F-150 and the Warrior Queens Expedition and how we are Santan Ford. Well, if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, do yourself a favor. Go check out the hundreds of new and used vehicles at Santan Ford. Located at the Santan 202 in Val Vista in Gilbert, Tim Hovick and the great team at Santan Ford will take care of you. Go to santanford.com. I am Santan Ford.
Hey, sports fanatics and card collectors. This is Adam from DNA Cards and Collectibles. Mark your calendar for Saturday, February 22nd. We'll be hosting a Topps Hobby Rip Night you won't want to miss. While we can't spill all the details just yet, we can announce Arizona's favorite female hooper, Sophie Cunningham, will be hanging out, ripping packs, and having fun. Keep listening for more celebrity guests and keep in the loop by following us on Instagram at DNA Card Shop. Located on the northwest corner of 32nd Street and Shea with Zips and Ace Hardware. DNA Cards and Collectibles. Be legendary.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
By now, you've probably heard of probiotics, right? Hi, Bill Ross here for Bill Ross Fitness Solutions. Probiotics are healthy bacteria. This healthy bacteria makes up 70% of your immune system. It's no joke. In a perfect world, you should have up to 3 pounds of it living in your gut. The problem is that it's so easy to destroy and so hard to grow. So if you want to stay healthy, you need to learn more about probiotics. For nutrition and fitness done right, go to BillRossFitnessSolutions.com today.
Hey folks, it's Pat. I'm drafting a very important out-of-office email. So how does this sound? Dear coworkers, clients, and spam bots, the Valley Toyota dealers are having a sale and there's some pretty great deals to be had. Leave me be, do not disturb, Pat is occupado. I will not return this message until it's over. The end. That's pretty professional sounding, right?
Right now, get 1.99% financing for 72 months on a new 2025 Tundra SR or SR5. Or get 4.99% 60-month financing on a new 2025 Camry or Tacoma. Plus, check out great lease deals on any new Toyota. Visit your Valley Toyota dealer or valleytoyotadealers.com today. Toyota, let's go places. 1.99% with $14.75 per thousand borrowed for 72 months. 4.99% with $18.87 per thousand borrowed for 60 months. Zero down payment if you qualify. Offers end 3/3/25. See dealer for details.
Hey everybody, Dan Bickley here. Soon it will be baseball season. Will the Diamondbacks save us from our despair? We'll discuss tomorrow. The fun begins at 6 a.m.
Oh, I'll go tip jar on this Greg Kinn Band Shepardy. Yeah, absolutely.
The Greg Kinn Band actually sang one of my favorite songs.
The one, not the other one. The one where the title isn't the hook in the song,
It's
right?
called the breakup song.
That's right. It's the. How does it go? It's not.
The breakup song by Greg Kinn is one of my favorite songs. Top 10 favorite songs.
I know, but it's not. Nobody knows it because it's the breakup song. It's like the Pina Colada song is not called the Pina Colada song. It's something else. How does the breakup song by Greg Kinn go?
You got this other song in my head, so I can't remember it. But can you find it quickly?
Can you?
Let's
Just real quick, just give me the breakup song. As soon as you play it, people
we
go.
had broken up for good just an hour before.
That one. Okay, that's the breakup song.
Staring at the bodies as they're dancing across the floor.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, you don't need to play it now. Okay, now I know it. It's like a song that's got this hook in it, and you're like, what is that song called? It's called the breakup song. But they don't. Nobody.
Great song.
Like
Great song.
Very good song. Very good song. So Jimmy Butler. Perfect. They came back from double digits down in the third quarter, and you're like watching it if you're a Suns fan.
Steph's like, this is great.
Yeah, sure.
Steph had himself a game.
Who wouldn't want this guy on their roster? Oh yeah, that stupid talk show host in Phoenix. He's the one.
Oh man,
I was talking about myself.
Well, yeah. We'll see how this goes. I mean, they beat the Bulls. But Curry was fantastic.
Yeah.
24 of his 34 to third quarter. He's got 3 straight games of 30 points. He's the oldest point guard in NBA history to have 3 straight 30-point games. And then Jimmy Butler comes in. They limit his minutes a little bit. He was totally out of gas. He had to come out of the game like 4 minutes in because he just hadn't played in so long. 25 points, 11 made free throws, 29 minutes. And one of the things when I was talking with players around the league about Jimmy Butler when we thought he could come here, that's one of the things that people told me. Not only leader, alpha male, he gets to the free throw line, man. He does it all. He does all the intangible things, the assists, the rebounds, the steals, guarding the other team's best player. But, yeah, they had to take 4 minutes and 18 seconds. He goes, I felt tired, extremely tired.
Sure.
Like somebody that had a month off, but he played very well.
He did. And look, whether you were for it or not, whether you thought Jimmy Butler could help the Suns or not, now you watch the Warriors to see what he does there. And maybe it'll make us regret it. Maybe it'll validate how we feel. Maybe we'll look at it and like I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't want him to come here. I didn't think it was going to work here. But if it goes there and works, it doesn't necessarily mean it would have worked here, but it kind of would paint this picture of, see what he could have done for you. See what Jimmy Butler could have done for the Phoenix Suns.
There's 2 ways to look at it. Butler for Beal was kind of a no-brainer. Butler for Durant, Durant's the better player. Butler has more intangibles, but Durant's better.
I hated Butler for Durant. I mean, I know you like the other parts of that deal, Kuminga and the picks and everything. Yeah. I did not want to do Butler for Durant. Even with all that other stuff, I didn't like that deal at all. Beal, sure. I mean, depending on, like, Beal, all your first-round picks, Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's where,
there's a price.
There's a price, there's a line. But just if you just generally speaking, Jimmy Butler on the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, yeah, you can kind of sort of look at the Warriors and wonder how it might have turned out. He played very, very well. It was the Bulls, like you alluded to. Let's see how it goes. The other one over the weekend.
Oh, he had some game.
Anthony Davis was putting on a show. He was making Nico Harrison look like a genius, and he was making those protesting Dallas Maverick fans outside look like fools. And then he got hurt, and now it sounds like he's going to be out a number of weeks with a left adductor strain, basically like a groin injury.
That was such a dominant 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists. He was doing it all. Like you said, he was absolutely doing it all. He had 3 of the team's 18 blocks. Now, I've spoken to some people over there with the Mavs, and it's like, we're going to be the best defensive front court in the NBA. Like, we are just going to be the best defensive front court. Just got to make sure you get good guard play, and they feel like they could be really good. But, yeah, it's just he was doing everything. And then with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in the third quarter, he grabbed his groin area. He grimaced. He walked off the court. He never got back on the court. He says it wouldn't loosen up. And he said at the time, it's nothing serious. I'm fine. But now a lot of reports are that he's going to miss multiple weeks.
He said that in the moment, but the reports came out yesterday, kind of in and around the Super Bowl, that he's not fine and that he's going to miss several weeks. So that, it certainly doesn't help matters at all for a fan base that's kind of pissed off at the organization anyway for trading Luka. And, by the way, adding injury to insult, Guess who makes his Lakers debut tonight?
Luka.
And I tell you right now, when I do what's on tonight, an hour, 2 hours from right now, that's the number one thing that's on tonight. I will Luka on the TV to see how he and LeBron play together. That is absolutely the thing to watch tonight.
Yeah. Do we have the cut? We might not, but the Mavs owner ripping Luka.
I don't have that.
It was classic. Just classic. There was a report that Mark Cuban tried to urge Nico Harris not to make the deal, but Mark Cuban's got no power now, right? Mm-hmm. He tried to urge him not to. But one of the things that was going around is the owner of the Mavericks just kind of ripping Luka for being lazy, and we can't have that here.
I didn't even see that.
Oh,
no.
man, I think I see if I bookmarked it or something. I didn't do a good job of sending it an email. That's on me. But that went around the last couple of days that the owner was kind of taking a shot at Luka for not being in shape, and
it's good.
Here's the reason why we made the trade.
Lauren's eyes got wide as saucers in there. She's like,
"It's my fault.
Was I supposed to? Yes.
I'll read the comment. His name is Patrick Dumont.
Okay, hit me.
Gave his first remarks following the Mavs-Lakers trade. If you look at the greats in the league, Jordan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, they worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win. And if you don't have that, you shouldn't be part of the Dallas Mavericks." Oh yeah. That was a shot at Luka. Wow. If you look at the greats in the league, Jordan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, they worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win. And if you don't have that, you shouldn't be part of the Dallas Mavericks.
Wow, that is not going to make that, depending on what happens tonight and the rest of the season. Now, the one thing
you over under on how many Luka goes for tonight?
Luka's.
What do you got for me
points
tonight?
In it now? He hasn't played in a while, right?
He hasn't played in a while.
This is his first game since
the
Christmas,
Jazz,
right?
And it's at home.
So I got to imagine he's on a minutes restriction.
Okay.
I got to think he's only playing 26 minutes, 27 minutes.
Okay.
I'll put over under on Luka points at
December. Christmas Day was the last time he played.
Okay.
Been out for 6 weeks.
27.5.
Oh boy, I'll take the under.
Too high? Oh, I'm getting too high.
I don't know. I mean, he could go for 40 and 30. He can go for 40 and 3/4. He's Luka.
Lauren, you were very quick to say the under. Lauren just did the thumbs down thing as if she was Julius Caesar herself. So okay.
Off with the head.
25.5.
Okay.
Is that more? Is that at least worthy of getting some bets on the over and some bets on the under?
Okay.
25.5. The trade was rescinded, by the way, the Lakers trade. Not of Luka,
right,
but of Mark Williams, the center they got from the Hornets.
Now,
apparently,
they don't have a center.
They don't have a center. They get Dalton Connect back. They get their first-round picks back, but their center position is in a world of hurt,
There were some reports going around this morning that the Nurkic trade hadn't gone through yet. So I checked on it and said, no, it's done. It's done. Because, and they actually sent out a statement with the Charlotte Hornets. We're excited to welcome Mark back to our Hornets organization after the other team aggressively pursued Mark. We made the difficult decision to move him. We have always held great respect for Mark's talents, work ethic, character. We're thrilled to see him rejoin our roster as a dynamic presence at the starting center position. And Yusuf Nurkic's like, what about me?
You see what Pelinka said? Rob Pelinka, the GM of the Lakers, is like, they called us. They called us. We didn't. They were the ones who pick up the phone and called us to see if we wanted to make it. Now, I'm sure everyone's playing the game right now, but we welcome
back.
Come on back.
Can you imagine if the Nurkic trade didn't go through?
Oh my God.
We welcome Yusuf Nurkic back. No, actually, we don't.
Would they have even sent a statement out saying as such?
Charlotte sent a statement.
I know
out.
Charlotte, but with the Suns, I don't know if they even would have. When we come back on the Burns and Gambo show, 4:00, it's reset time. Let's find out what else is going on in sports, shall we? That's next on Burns and Gambo.
Quickly and Marana mornings.
Myles Garrett, I think, is going to have some say on where he ends up. I'm selling Nick Rawlins, and I'm selling the competition level of that defense despite lacking top-flight talent